Sometimes, the best language lessons don't happen in a classroom. They happen when you miss a sign, take the wrong ferry, and end up somewhere you didn't plan to be. That's when the real stories begin. If you're learning English, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. Let this story remind you that getting lost might be the most fluent thing you can do. So grab your headphones, open your heart, and follow the voice of this story. Let's go to Greece, but not exactly the island we meant to go to. No one ever told Theo that learning a language could be this frustrating and this beautiful. He had been studying English on and off for years, listening to podcasts, writing journal entries, and watching videos with subtitles. But it always felt like the words were just floating around him, never quite landing in the right place. That was until he decided to travel alone. Greece had always been on his mind. The whitewash houses, the deep blue sea, the myth of it all. And now, with his passport in one pocket and a worn English phrase book in the other, Theo stepped onto the deck of a ferry bound for the famous island of Naxos, or so he thought. The journey started smoothly. A soft breeze, a warm sun, and the quiet buzz of travelers chatting in various languages. Theo practiced small phrases in his head, smiled at strangers, and tried to read the signs around the ferry terminal. He even ordered a coffee in English, proud of how natural it felt. But something went wrong. Maybe it was the signs, maybe it was the announcements spoken too fast, or maybe he'd simply been lost in thought. When the ferry finally docked, Theo stepped off with confidence onto the wrong island. It wasn't Naxos. It was smaller, quieter. No crowds, no tourist stalls, no loud scooters buzzing through narrow streets. Just a few white buildings, a sleepy harbor, and the sound of waves gently folding onto shore. At first, Theo didn't notice. He walked, checked his map, and nothing made sense. No signal. No familiar landmarks. No idea where he was. Panic began to rise in his chest. He looked around, searching for someone who might speak English. He saw an old man sitting on a bench, watching birds fly over the sea. Theo approached slowly, his heart thudding. "Excuse me," he said, "is this Naxos?" The man smiled, shook his head, and said gently, "No, my friend. This is Iraklia." Theo blinked. Iraklia. The man nodded. Small island. Very small. But beautiful. For a moment, Theo didn't know what to do. He could try to go back, wait for another ferry, maybe even call someone. But something about the quiet charm of the place held him there. The man patted the bench beside him. "Sit. You came a long way. Have some rest." Theo sat. They didn't talk much, just shared the silence. And somehow, in that silence, the fear began to fade. Over the next few hours, something unexpected happened. A woman at a nearby taverna offered him fresh bread and cheese. A young boy showed him a trail that led to a hidden beach. A fisherman invited him to join a short trip on the boat, where he explained the names of fish in English, smiling proudly with every word. Theo began to speak, not perfectly but honestly. Short sentences, real questions, thank yous, laughter. He stopped worrying about grammar. He just talked. And in return, the island spoke back. With smiles. With simple words. With open hearts. He stayed the night in a small guest house run by a woman who didn't speak much English. And yet they shared a conversation through gestures, photos, and laughter over herbal tea. That night, Theo wrote in his journal, not about how he messed up, but about how he found something he didn't know he was looking for. The next morning, he finally caught a ferry to Naxos. But his mind stayed on the wrong island, on the people who welcomed him, on the quiet moments that taught him more than any lesson could. Later, when he told the story to friends, he would always smile and say, "I went to the wrong island in Greece, and it was exactly where I needed to be." When you're learning a language, remember, mistakes aren't wrong turns. They're hidden trails. Sometimes, the words come more easily when you're lost. Sometimes, the lessons live on islands you never meant to find. If this story made you smile, consider subscribing. We share stories in clear, simple English, so you can learn the language through real-life wonder. And who knows, maybe the next wrong island is waiting for you too.